Good morning, everybody. My name is Tony Grillo, and welcome to my channel, Wisconsin Hugs. I thought I'd show you this real quick. There's a channel out there called Harsh Reality, and I believe the guy is over in Great Britain, and he has a British accent. And it is amazing that people from all over the world are following the Kylie Rodney case. I mean, even the comments I'm getting, I got people from Scotland, and I got people from Australia that are commenting on my videos. I'm blown away. I just it's amazing that all the attention from all around the world, and I hope you all keep up this attention, and let's keep up the support for these channels that are going on with this battle and are trying to get the police to investigate this case and put on the pressure, and let's find find out the truth about what really happened to Kylie. So, anyways, Harsh had a comment, and it's always kind of fun when one of these larger channel content people actually respond to something that you write, because these people are busy. I mean, I watch Squirrel Girl, and she is like pouring all her time and effort into talking about the case and getting facts and making sure she puts out stuff that's correct. And so a lot of these people just don't have time to sit and write comments. So it's especially nice when somebody does do that. And I did get a comment from Harsh Reality. I thought I'd play that for all of you. I wrote one day ago. He wished everybody a Merry Christmas, and he did it on one of those little YouTube posts. And my channel has finally gotten to the point where I think I have enough videos now where I can actually do this on my channel. I still can't do any live streams, and I'm not sure if I want to do that because I don't know. You want to make sure you put out correct information, especially when you're doing live streams. And see, I'm still trying to catch up with everybody, and trying to figure out what exactly is all going on with this case. But so I haven't got to that point, so my channel can't do that. But my channel can do posts, posts out there. And I think the very first one I wrote was, do you believe that people have paranormal gifts? And well, when I did it, I maybe only had 30 subscribers, so I didn't get any response on that, and so I haven't done one since. But I thought, and I had a reason for doing that because, well, my girlfriend has some abilities, as she's had it since her childhood, but I'll talk a little bit about that later. Anyways, I wanted to read this comment I wrote to Harsh. Here you go. I've been a fan since KR was missing. And Harsh was one of the first channels I found when I was trying to find out information about Kylie Rodney. When I started getting interested in the case, Harsh was one of the first. I think there was like 2 or 3 channels that I was watching. Another one was Justice A to Z. She was one of the first ones I started watching, and then I can't remember. There was a couple. I think Zav Girl was another one that I was watching, and so there was a few channels there and then of course the one he who shall not be named. I was watching him as well. So anyways. So I'll read this. Been a fan since KR was missing. Then when Force Cam vid showed up, I thought it was an unfortunate case of kid driving drunk, but you kept pressing on with saying foul play, and now through you and other channels, we are finding out that vid was fake. And one good channel says the FBI will only say the black box says the car didn't go into the lake the night of the party, and now we know Toe Guy is right. You said that all along, and I thought he was mistaken. That was Toe Guy. And the phone call at 12:36 a.m. from Kylie to Sammy didn't add up because, yeah, if the car would have went in the lake at 12:33, then how did Kylie make that phone call? But now we know it could have happened. So I was wrong, and I've had to say that on my channel, and you were right all along. So yeah, I will tell everyone not to listen to me anymore, but they should go listen to you. Merry Christmas, Wisconsin Hugs. Now, it was kind of funny because I'm sure a lot of you bigger channels know this, but there are scammers out there who will try to copy you, and they'll get on there and they'll say something like uh, hey, I have this investment opportunity. Why don't you give me a call, or text me, and then they put a number or something up there. And that's what somebody had done. You can even see I responded to whoever that was because they did delete their comment, and but it was at Harsh Reality 685, and I said, "Dude, you aren't harsh. Quit scamming." you know, and then so here we go, right here. And then the real harsh, it says real harsh right there. 6 hours ago, he writes, yeah, I think it's sometimes easier to just accept that accidents happen rather than to accept the alternatives. The alternatives are far, far worse. He is absolutely right. Um, uh, it is. It is just, easier to accept that, it was an accident. Because now, I mean, how far does this rabbit hole go in this KR case? You know, I mean, I've told you all that, I long time ago, I was a volunteer firefighter with my community, and I worked with our law enforcement people, and I can't imagine any of them doing a cover up, and especially with a kid, the death of a kid. I just can't imagine that. It's hard for me to fathom that. And I know a lot of you are seeing cartels and everything, and I believe you're onto something because I saw a story in USA Today about how bad the cartels are in California. The fact that you guys legalized pot there in California, those cartel operations are saying, well, hey, why don't we just move our operations into California? We'll buy smaller operations, smaller farms, whatever, and then they're like stealing water to grow their stuff to make their fentanyl and everything else. They're actually stealing water from other farms, and they're also burning down any competition farms. And then they come in and they're trying to take over the market with their cheaper drugs. And it is a rising epidemic, and apparently it's like the wild west out there. There's shootouts going on in California, according to USA Today report that I read, like I think it was a couple months ago. I actually put it on my Facebook, that story about that. Maybe I should go through and read that to all of you. That might not be a bad idea. Yeah, so here's the story here. I posted this October 26th, but crazy story. You think legalizing marijuana would stop the black market in California? Like it did with alcohol back in the 30s. When they did that, when they made prohibition was going on. Instead, cartels are moving production operations into California. They undercut licensed farmers that legally grow it. They steal water, poison crops, and set fires at other farmers' places. And then shootouts are occurring everywhere that are all linked in the cartels. Bodies left in trunks of abandoned cars are becoming more frequent. And 100,000 overdoses per year are being linked to cartel drug producing operations in California. Maybe this is why you shouldn't legalize pot. And I know that when the vote here in Wisconsin came for the last election, um, uh, I that did show up on the ballot. Should Wisconsin legalize pot? And I wrote absolutely not. And I was telling I was telling some of the family members, my girlfriend's family members that are about that. Where I was talking to him about that, and he's like, "So how'd you vote?" And I said, "I voted no." And he's like, "I don't like you." But here's the story here. Maybe I can get this story. Hopefully I can. I'm gonna try to get. All right, whatever reasons I can't flip it the other way. I don't know why, but here we go. It's USA Today. Um, Marijuana wars, violent Mexican drug cartels turn Northern California into Wild Wild West. So A shadow marijuana market is thriving in California, attracting Mexican cartels and harming people, animals, and the environment. So in Covello, California, I have no idea where Covello is, as in relationship to Truckee, California. Maybe we could take a quick peek at that after I'm done here. Mexican drug cartels are muscling in on America's burgeoning multi-billion dollar marijuana industry, illegally growing large crops in the hills and valleys in Northern California. The state legalized marijuana in 2016 for adult recreational use, yet the black market continues to thrive with thousands of illegal grows. Criminal syndicates, in turn, are cashing in across the U.S. on the green gold rush. They're undercutting prices of legalized products offered by permitted farmers who follow the rules and pay taxes. And they're exploiting workers, robbing and shooting adversaries, poisoning wildlife, and poaching water in a state fighting widespread drought and devastating wildfires. So, lured by America's push toward legalized cannabis, cartels have abandoned many decades-old marijuana farms in Mexico, moving their operations to Northern California where they can blend in seamlessly alongside legitimate grows, said Mike Sina, executive director of Northern California's high-intensity drug trafficking area task forces. Why try to bring that bulk marijuana into the United States when you could just grow it in the United States in remote locations like Mendocino County and then move it across the entire country? So yeah, I don't know where Mendocino County is in comparison to Truckee, California. But major cartels, including the top powerhouses, Sinaloa and Cartel Jalisco Nuevo Generacion, or CGNG, also continue trafficking billions of dollars of heroin, meth, opioids. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce it. It's still in the morning. I just woke up. But in the U.S. and countries worldwide, they're flooding the streets with fentanyl and often pressed into pills to mimic prescription medicine, fueling skyrocketing overdoses that killed more than 100,000 people during the pandemic. So 100,000 people have died just during the pandemic from stuff that's going on, that's being grown in California. The cartels and their drugs also have infiltrated Kentucky, where overdose deaths rose 49% in 2020, killing nearly 2,000 people. So now you got another 2,000 people that were killed from the stuff that's going on in Kentucky. So America's growing embrace of marijuana has given the cartels an avenue to expand their reach, employing the same vicious tactics they use to push out competitors in the illicit opioid, I hope I said that right, trade. John Hashik, a member of the Mendocino County Board of Supervisors, said the county has issued about 1,100 permits for cannabis cultivation. And the county sheriff there, Matt Kendall, told the Courier-Journal that there are as many as 10,000 illegal grows in his jurisdiction. So, wow. So you got 1,100 permits where people, for actually legal operations, 1,100 of them of people that are actually doing the right thing and growing it right and obeying the laws and paying taxes. And you got 10,000 people doing illegal grows in the same jurisdiction. So it's a 2-hour drive north of San Francisco. So that's what they were saying. Yeah, these markets are all in Northern California. So he tries to target the worst 100, which is all his small force can handle. So you've got 10,000 of these illegal grows going on, and all he can do in a year is try to take down 100 of them, the worst 100. He says, I'm fighting a dragon with a needle. So marijuana farming in the Emerald Triangle. Kendall's county of 91,000 residents forms the base of California's famed Emerald Triangle. See, I don't know any of this stuff. But apparently it's topped by Humboldt County and Trinity counties, a remote region where marijuana growers far outnumber the police. So yeah, the police, their resources are totally stretched. And then in Mendoza County, just 21 deputies patrol a jurisdiction that stretches over 3,500 square miles from oceanside cliffs on its western border to the national forest on the east. Yeah, so they only have 21 police officers that cover that whole area. The area is double the geographic footprint of Los Angeles, Atlanta, Houston, New Orleans, Chicago, and Denver. So you have an area that's double the geographic footprint of those major cities, and you only have 21 police officers covering that. Yeah. No wonder this is a booming cartel business that's going on. We have international cartels successfully operating here, setting up multi-million-dollar farm operations, said California Assemblyman Tom Lackey, a Republican from Palmdale, a former highway patrolman. They're poisoning our ground, stealing our water, and we have drought out here. Headless bodies and murder victims. Yeah, the sheriff said he doesn't have enough deputies to safely serve a search warrant amid increasing violence. A glimpse at what he's dealing with. Christopher Wayne Gamble, who allegedly operated large illegal crops near the town of Willits in central Mendocino County, is charged with murdering a 17-year-old boy and his father who came from Mexico seeking work. So yeah, these people come here, people come to our country, they want to work, and so they find jobs here at these illegal marijuana plants, and then they wind up dead. On a second property Gamble owns, detectives found the victims' headless bodies in April in a ditch under a pile of tires that have been set on fire. It's punishment to the person who stepped out of line, the sheriff said, and a message to the next person, don't step out of line. Yeah, so these cartels don't mess around. If you step out of line, they kill you. And then they leave your bodies in trunks, or they burn your body under a pile of tires. In October, a Fish and Wildlife warden stumbled onto a decomposing body stuffed in the trunk of a vehicle parked along the roadside near Covello in the northern part of the county. During a drive-by shooting last year, one man was shot in the ear and another in the head in Covello. So yeah, this is what's going on out there, people. So all you channels that are saying, this could be cartel linked, this whole case with Kylie Rodney, and there's this big cover-up, and the cartels are influencing the whole thing. Yeah, it looks like you're absolutely right now, what's going on. All, according to the sheriff and court records, are linked to illegal cannabis grows. We're a very short amount of time away from having heads in the square like they go down, like they do down in Mexico. Yeah, exactly. The number of missing people grows. Yeah, every year backpackers from the U.S. and beyond seek adventure and farm work, and boarding buses bound for the Emerald Triangle. Excuse me. They join men and women who travel from Mexico looking to make money to send back to their families, and some never make it home. It's a wild, wild west, said Sina, who is based in San Francisco and oversees 22 federally funded drug task forces throughout Northern California. We've got people in gunfights on a regular basis over marijuana. And the number of missing people is insane, especially in the Emerald Triangle during growing season. People call the sheriff's offices up there looking for loved ones who may never be found. The Courier-Journal spent a week in the valley town of Covello and throughout Mendocino County, touring cattle ranches, permitted marijuana farms, and a licensed dispensary, and talking with conservationists, lawmakers, teachers, police, and fire officials and tribal members. Some gave differing opinions about marijuana and laws governing its crops, but all agreed that crime and related problems have only worsened with legalization. So illegal growers are using dangerous chemicals from Mexico that poison animals and contaminate soil. Yeah, well, also contaminates their soul. Armed criminal networks set up illegal grows on federal lands in national forests. So yeah, they're actually balls enough to go onto federal forests, federal land, and do illegal grows. And illegal cannabis used to make a nearly pure form of THC is linked to explosions that have burned children and killed adults. And some veteran lawmen surprisingly approve of legalizing marijuana federally as a way to cripple the black market. So, God, I don't know about that, man. But yeah, there are actually some people that say, well, if we made it, legal here in the entire nation, that would cripple it. It doesn't look like it's. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. My gut just says it's not the right thing to do. But I don't know. Illegal growers can camouflage their grows in plain sight near permitted grows, forcing police and code enforcement to research which crops are legal and or in the midst of the permit process. Even if a grow isn't legal, it's only a misdemeanor crime in California, regardless of the size of the crop. So there's another problem there. If the grow isn't legal, it's only a misdemeanor. So yeah, like that guy that grows something in his basement, I can understand that. That hey, you know what? That's why they made it a misdemeanor. But they apply that same law to the person that grows that stuff in their basement as to people that are out there doing these huge illegal grows. Typical investigators must prove environmental damage occurred or someone was stabbed or shot to elevate the crime to a felony. Yeah, so good luck on that, right? So, and though more than 30 states have legalized marijuana for medical use and 18 states allow adult recreational use, marijuana remains a Schedule I drug in the U.S., making it illegal federally. Accordingly, banks typically won't issue credit cards or provide banking services to permitted marijuana businesses. And so that renders it to a cash-only industry ripe for robbers. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. The banks won't issue credit cards or provide banking services to permitted marijuana businesses. So, yeah, you have to have, if you're going to start your own business like this, I guess you're going to have a lot of cash in your pockets because nobody's going to give you any loans or anything or credit cards. For the past few years, U.S. lawmakers have voted down controversial measures to open up banking services to legitimate cannabis-related businesses. And marijuana's classification as a legal drug means farmers and dispensaries in California are barred from exporting it to the other states, and adult tourists can legally buy marijuana joints, edibles, and other cannabis products, but they can't carry them over state lines. Oh, yeah, that's right. So, that's Hands organized criminals, a ready-made customer base. That hands a ready-made customer base to organized criminals. And they move their cannabis by train, plane, and car to states where it's not legal. And investigators say even some California residents buy it illegally because it's cheaper. Yeah, they want to buy the cheaper stuff. So, John Burks, he's with the county's code enforcement supervisor. Yeah, can you imagine this? You got a code enforcement supervisor said he uses flyover photography and Google Earth satellite to hunt for illegal crops, sometimes hidden among the tree canopy. He estimates the county's known illegal grows covers roughly 300 acres. And he said his department also receives tips about questionable crops and greenhouses from neighbors, logging about 600 complaints this year as of mid-November, double the complaints from a year before. So yeah, so they're also getting tips from all you residents out there that are saying, hey, that's illegal. Those people are illegal. And those tips have all skyrocketed. Looks like, he had 600 complaints this year as of mid-November. Permitted farmers are at a disadvantage, yeah. Said Swami, I don't know, Shaitanya of Swami Select Farms. He's a self-described hippie and legacy farmer, and meaning he harvested the crop before it was legal in a wooded area. Okay. He and his partner run a small farm. They produce up to 400 pounds annually. They've spent more than $200,000 during the past 5 years, and they still haven't completed the complicated permitting process. So here's a guy that him and his partner They've spent more than $200,000 the past 5 years to try to get their little business that grows 400 pounds, just 400 pounds annually. And he still can't get his license. So that also makes it attractive to these illegal farmers, because these illegal farms that are popping up. So he said they had to submit maps and photos and pay for surveys and inspections. And they also have to, pay for surveys, and they have to pay for the inspections from state and county agencies that monitor the food and agricultural fish and wildlife quality and everything else. He says, we want to be the Bordeaux or Champagne of cannabis. I love that. And we are, he said, of their small batch craft cannabis, if they don't kill us with taxes and fees. So they're saying that the whole process has failed, and maybe I'll try to speed through this because this video is probably getting long. So, but yeah, there are more than 8,400 cultivation licensees scattered across the state. Each county has the operation to ban the cannabis. Currently, 68% of local jurisdictions in California do ban cannabis retail. Okay? So you can't just go anywhere in California and buy cannabis. All right? It looks like 68% of local jurisdictions ban the selling of cannabis. And 62% ban all cannabis activities. So now it's relegated to each county. And so, basically, Tanya, that self-described hippie who has that little operation, he said his product is sold in 15 dispensaries, and he estimates that more than 100 area growers near his county farm, his own county farm, aren't permitted. And they're kind of looking at us like we're stupid. Yeah, that would suck. You're spending all that money to try to, $200,000, and you're trying to grow 400 pounds of your champagne quality cannabis, and you still can't get your permits. And now all these other business owners are like, yeah, you're kind of dumb. And then not only that, you're also competing with all the illegal competition that's going on out there. Farmers once fetched up to $4,000 per pound, but now a saturated market across the state has driven prices down to $400 or less. Yeah. So if you're growing 400 pounds and you're only getting $400, I'll do the math, and you spent $200,000 on just to get your operation, the permits and everything, and you still don't have the permits. You're paying all that money for the tests on the water and everything else. Yeah. You're not making money. You're not making money. The whole process has failed. It's failed the growers who are trying to do it right. It's failed the community. Yeah, because the community, people are dying from all this illegal crap that's going on, and they're being killed by these illegal operations if they get out of line. And so Delbar, his family runs a cattle ranch in the town of Potter Valley. He says he's concerned about growing violence, piles of garbage left beside streams, and abandoned greenhouses called hoop houses left to deteriorate after growers leave. And there's not enough policemen, sheriff, or code enforcement agents to make sure the people who are growing are permitted. Yeah, there you go. I mean, if you have an illegal operation growing next to a legal operation, you only have 21 cops covering this area, an area that's bigger than Los Angeles. That's got to be tough. Yep. She said during a ride on a four-wheeler to check on her herd. She said that a realtor and two men came to her farming community and offered residents $400,000 to $500,000 cash up front to lease property for 1 year, and promising $1 million more at the end of 12 months. Well, what do you know? Right there. Look at that. So her little farm, her little herd farm, realtor and two men came to her community and offered each resident $400,000 to $5. That's a lot of money right there. So you're going to get $500,000 for these people to lease your land for 1 year, and then they promise to pay you $1 million more at the end of the year. So you're going to get $1.5 million in cash, just for them to use your land. Yeah, there you go. However, the agreement requires that the owners have to stay off their land. Yeah. And you're also responsible for the damage to the environment. Yep. So, Dave Najera, a former U.S. Marine, he co-owns a cannabis business that was once a vineyard. We were doing it before it was legal, he said, because he was touting the plant's benefits for anyone with post-traumatic stress disorder. Yeah, well, if he was a Marine, he knows all about that. The post-traumatic, and yeah, marijuana has tremendous benefits for that, for people that are suffering from PTSD. And now his business is licensed as Mendo Select, and he legally operates 10 greenhouses. There are a lot of guidelines and a lot more hoops to jump through, but you sleep better at night. It's nice to know you aren't going to lose your freedom. He said government fees and taxes are actually a bigger threat to his business than illegal growers. They're going to most likely cripple the small farms, he said, because of what the government's doing. So yeah, that is. Let's. So yeah, here's something that's interesting too. Right here, this Cavello, this town here, it says it's only accessible by a narrow road that snakes upward for several miles, overlooking a drop off. And he said growers tucked away in those hills have a bird's eye view when patrol cars or strangers are coming their way. Yeah, isn't that something? So, the illegal grows, reservations, they're hidden behind fences, 6 feet or taller, and guarded with security cameras, pit bulls, and they have signs that say keep out. There are also several dump sites with abandoned cars and piles of trash. So yeah, they just they do their grows, their illegal grows, and then they just leave trash and abandoned cars out there. It's and also because of these these operations. Oh, that's my dog barking. Yeah, right here. Because these operations are like wanting to like purchase land, it's driving up the cost of land. It's like doubling the cost of land out there. So people, that want to use the land for legal stuff, they can't afford it. They can't afford to buy the land that's out there because the land is rising in prices. So the only people that can, that afford to buy the land out there now because of prices of the land have been skyrocketing are these illegal pot operations. So that is interesting. This is a really interesting story right here. And there's a lot more to it, but I thought I'd read a good chunk of it. And here's another one. He said, these growers at illegal sites, a lot of times they cut down the trees and they leave piles of trash and human waste near streams. And they become toxic waste sites. So, and that's happening a lot, said Jim Wood, a Democrat whose district includes the Emerald Triangle. They're damaging the water and damaging wildlife, and it's pretty large scale. So, I love Wisconsin. I love our land. I love the beauty of our woods and our forests and our parks. Yeah, I'm not gonna want pot to be legally grown in my state. I'm sorry. I'm not going to vote for that. I'm not going to vote for these people to have permitted growing sites in Wisconsin, and I'm not going to vote for pot to be legalized in this state. I'm just not going to do it. I love this state too much. So, all right. Well, that's all I got for you. I hope you have a great day, everybody. Peace. I'm out of here. Wisconsin Hugs.